The text on my phone glowed like a warning flare in the dark. Just a quick drink with work friends, love. Home by 10. I stared at it, my thumb hovering over the screen, the knot in my gut tightening. Something about Sarah's message felt off, like a song played in the wrong key. It was 9:45 p.m., and I was already in the car, driving toward her office's holiday party. A bottle of her favorite Merlot tucked beside me. I told myself it was a romantic whim. Surprise her, be the spontaneous husband she used to brag about to her friends. But deep down, I knew it wasn't just that. The late nights, the guarded phone, the way her laughter had grown distant. It all whispered a truth I wasn't ready to hear. The city lights blurred past as I navigated the familiar route to her downtown office. Sarah had been with the firm for 3 years, climbing from junior analyst to project lead. I'd always been proud of her sharp mind, her relentless drive. But lately, her work had become a wall between us. It's just the deadline crunch, she'd say, brushing off my questions with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I wanted to believe her. God, I did. But the doubts had rooted deep, fed by every deflected glance and vague explanation. I pulled into the parking lot of the sleek glass building, its windows aglow with the party's warmth. Laughter and music spilled out as I stepped from the car, the Merlot bottle cold against my palm. My heart thudded, a mix of hope and dread. Maybe I'd walk in, see her laughing with her colleagues, and feel like an idiot for doubting her. Maybe I'd sweep her into my arms, and we'd laugh about my paranoia later, curled up on our couch. Or maybe, I shook the thought away and pushed through the revolving doors. The lobby was decked in twinkling lights and garlands, a festive contrast to the sterile corporate vibe I remembered from the last time I'd visited. The elevator ride to the 12th floor felt endless, each ding of the floors ratcheting up my nerves. When the doors opened, the party was in full swing, clinking glasses, upbeat jazz, and clusters of people in suits and cocktail dresses. I scanned the room for Sarah's auburn hair, her signature black dress that hugged her curves just right. My eyes darted from face to face, but she wasn't there. Mark Wright. A vaguely familiar woman approached, her smile polite but cautious. It was Jenna, Sarah's coworker from the marketing team. We'd met at a company picnic last summer. Yeah, hi, I said, forcing a grin. Just thought I'd surprise Sarah. Have you seen her? Jenna's smile faltered, her eyes flicking toward the far end of the room. Oh, I think she's around. Maybe check the lounge area. Her voice was too quick, her glance too loaded. My stomach churned. Thanks, I muttered, already moving past her. The lounge area was tucked behind a glass partition, a quieter nook with plush couches and dim lighting. As I approached, I heard her laugh, bright, unguarded. The way it used to be when we'd stay up late talking about our dreams. My steps slowed, the sound pulling me forward and holding me back all at once. Then I saw her. Sarah was on a couch, her legs crossed, a glass of wine in her hand. She leaned toward a man I didn't recognize, tall, sharp-jawed, his tie loosened like he owned the room. Their heads were close, her hand resting on his arm as she laughed again. It wasn't the polite chuckle she gave clients. It was intimate, unguarded, the kind of laugh that used to be mine. I stood frozen, the Merlot bottle heavy in my hand. The room seemed to tilt, the jazz fading to a dull hum. I wanted to turn away, to pretend I hadn't seen, but my feet carried me closer. The man, his name tag read Ethan, senior consultant, said something low, and Sarah's eyes sparkled as she leaned even closer, her fingers brushing his knee. Sarah? My voice came out rough, louder than I'd meant. She jolted, her wine sloshing as she turned. Her eyes widened, guilt flashing across her face before she masked it with a smile. Mark. What are you doing here? Thought I'd surprise you, I said, holding up the bottle, my voice flat. Guess I did. Ethan shifted, his expression unreadable but his posture stiff. Hey man, you must be the husband, he said, standing and offering a hand. Ethan. Good to meet you. I ignored his hand, my eyes locked on Sarah. Work friends, huh? Her smile wavered, her fingers tightening around her glass. Mark, it's not, let's talk outside, okay? No, I said, my voice low but steady. Let's talk now. The air between us crackled, the party's noise fading to a distant buzz. Sarah set her glass down, her movements deliberate, like she was buying time. Ethan's just a colleague, she said, her voice too calm, too practiced. We were catching up about the project. Catching up, I echoed, my gaze flicking to her hand, still resting near his. That why you're practically in his lap? Her face flushed, and Ethan cleared his throat, stepping back. I'll give you two a moment, he said, disappearing into the crowd. Sarah stood, smoothing her dress, her eyes darting anywhere but at me. You're making a scene, she whispered, her voice sharp. Can we not do this here? Do what? I asked, stepping closer. Ask why my wife's been lying to me? Why she's been coming home late, hiding her phone, acting like I'm the one who's crazy for noticing. Her lips parted, but no words came. The silence was louder than any confession. My chest ached, a raw, hollow pain that spread with every breath. I'd spent months convincing myself I was paranoid, that love meant trust, that Sarah would never hurt me. But the truth was in her eyes, in the way she couldn't meet mine. How long? I asked, my voice breaking. Mark, she reached for me, but I stepped back, the bottle clinking against my leg. How long, Sarah? She swallowed, tears welling in her eyes. It's not what you think. It's complicated. Complicated. I laughed, a bitter sound that drew a few glances. You told me it was work. You told me I was your home. Was any of it true? Her tears spilled over, but they didn't soften me. Not this time. It started as nothing, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Just talking, venting about work. But then, I don't know, Mark. I got caught up. I didn't mean for it to. To what? I cut in. To betray me? To throw away 10 years. Her sob was quiet, but it hit me like a punch. I still love you, she said, her voice cracking. I got lost. I stared at her, the woman I'd built my life around, the one I'd pictured growing old with. The Merlot bottle felt like a lead weight, a foolish gesture from a man who didn't know his world was crumbling. Lost, I repeated, the word tasting like ash. You didn't get lost, Sarah. You chose this. I turned, my vision blurring as I walked away, her voice calling after me, soft and desperate. Mark, please, let's talk about this. But I didn't stop. The party's noise swallowed her words as I pushed through the crowd, the bottle still in my hand, a reminder of the trust I'd carried in with me. The elevator ride down was suffocating, each floor a descent into a new kind of loneliness. I'd come to surprise her, to prove our love was still alive. Instead, I'd found the truth I'd been too afraid to face. In the parking lot, I set the Merlot on the ground and got into my car. The engine roared to life, but I didn't drive. I sat there, gripping the wheel, the city lights streaking through my tears. Sarah's laugh echoed in my mind, not the one from tonight, but the one from years ago, when we were just two kids in love, promising forever. That was gone now, replaced by a wound that would take years to heal. If it ever did. I didn't know where I'd go next. Home felt like a lie, a museum of memories tainted by her betrayal. But as I stared at the bottle through the windshield, one thing was clear. I couldn't stay here, in the shadow of her choices. I shifted into drive, the road ahead as uncertain as my heart, and left the party behind.